I'm going to have red build up its infantry. So I'm going to do some mining, and I'm going to spend 1 gold to move along the blue player's tracks to do so. It'll cost me a time, and it'll allow me to move along my rail, the blue player's rail, and mine these 3 coal, and put that coal into my warehouse. That's going to bring our old ones back to an illuminated space, drawing their revelation card. Reveal the old one in the lowest numbered hex. Retrieve 1 action cube. We can see that symbol here in the upper right corner. The lowest numbered hex is currently 20 with this level 2 old one, which is our first Shogoth, worth 5 victory points and has 5 health. If we want to fight them in the future, infantry and armored cars are the weakest units, so we need trains and artillery to go against them, or we can bring some airship support. Any benefits that we come across on revelation cards, retrieve 1 action cube, apply to each and every player. The choice for the blue player is quite easy, since they only have 1 cube out. I want the red player to be able to sell the coal off, so we'll retrieve the 1 from the import-export action. The yellow player is in a position to build some more railways with the resources they have in hand, so we'll retrieve that one. Let's find out if the Shogoth is going to start moving right away. Not on this card, but will move on this card, and the preferred direction is 4, and if we need to use it, we're going to go clockwise. The closest non-blighted farm or port, we have 1, 2, 3 to both of those, and 1, 2, 3 down here to the red. The preferred direction would be 4, which is directly to the south. Heading directly to the south is a preferred option for the Shogoth, and that brings it within 1 step closer of all 3, so that worked out well for it, which means we need to take this thing out soon before it starts blighting more farms. The blue player can go before the old ones get to go again, and if they only use 1 time unit, they can go twice. Currently, blue only has infantry and armored cars, which are poor against a Shogoth, and blue has no gold. I can either attack or take my chances and hope the Shogoth doesn't move twice and do a different action. I think attacking with 2 unit types that are poor would be ineffective against a creature, especially since it has 5 health. I'm going to take my chances and go ahead and build 2 rail lines and connect to both of these resource spaces with iron, which gets me further into the outback and the ability to use the armored train. That'll cost the blue 2, bringing us to the old ones again. And they will go and possibly move. All right, we got lucky. The first card, the Shogoth, does not move. And it will not move on the second card. So our risk paid off. Our red player is next. We will sell 2 of these coal to gain 2 more gold. And that 1 point action will let us go again before the old ones. I want yellow to be able to attack this Shogoth. So we will retrieve all of our cubes for 1 time unit, allowing the yellow player to go again right away. And we will attack with both infantry and our artillery. The infantry are poor, but the artillery are good against the Shogoth. And thanks to our professor, that will only cost us 1 time unit, bringing us to space 31 and allowing us to attack the Shogoth. It's right on our rail line. If we had an armored train, we'd be able to use it. How will yellow fare with the infantry and the artillery? Not very good. The airship would have done damage, but we will take 1 wound. The first inflicted wound belongs to the old ones this time. We'll continue the attack. Oh, that's bad news. Armored train would have done 2, but we don't take any wounds. That is it for the deck, so I need to reshuffle. Let's give them another quick shuffle and continue with our battle. And we're going to get another double negative result. Again with the train. We still haven't wounded this thing, and we're going to lose a sanity, leaving us with 2. Our artillery's not very accurate this time. Again, airship and a damage. Bad battle here for the yellow. I would like to inflict a little bit of damage on the Shogoth. We will place a second one on the infantry, and Franz will allow them to return to the barracks. Alright, artillery, let's do something. Oof. Well, we are going to inflict a wound, but the Shogoth is going to do 2. Only 1. I don't want to lose either unit, so I'll put 1 damage on each, and we will choose to withdraw all of our troops instead of drawing another card. So we'll move these off and return to our barracks defeated. But the damage marker will stay on the Shogoth. They only come off of zombie enemies. I will have red purchase military, spend 2 gold to get 2 more infantry from the supply. Red has 4 infantry now, which seems excessive, but I will use red to go after enemies that we know infantry is effective against, instead of building up red with a bunch of other unit types, since they're going to have to travel along rail lines for the most part by paying gold. So we'll have them ready to go, and they can take their airship at 0 additional cost with a ton of infantry and go after enemies that are susceptible to that attack. I'll move red forward 1. The old ones will now go to an illuminated space, and that will be the last level 1 illumination card. Reveal the old one in the lowest numbered hex. And currently the lowest numbered hex would be 22, where that level 1 is. And it's a kangaroo. That helped us out. We didn't have to waste any time or resources to head there to find out that that was nothing. The old ones have a chance to move the Shogoth, and it will move with the first card, preferring direction 6 and using clockwise if necessary. Direction number 6 is away from where it would be heading, so we would have to use that clockwise motion. It's definitely not going to head in that direction because it's close to all 3 of these farms. So we'd start here, move clockwise to this space. Shogoth will move closer to our cattle and sheep farm. And we need a little bit of luck here and hope it doesn't move again. And we did get lucky. It did not move, so no farms will be blighted this time. That means our blue player can go, and I think an attack would be smart. But again, we only have infantry and armored cars with that player. I'm not going to do a lot of damage to it. Blue needs a better selection of military units, so we will mine these iron for later sell for 1 time unit, giving us 3 more iron in the warehouse, and we should start selling things. So let's export 2 iron to receive 2 gold. Unfortunately, that'll let the old ones go again, which means we probably will lose a farm to some blight. But I have to prepare to purchase more military units because we do have a lot of level 2s and some 3s that are going to be coming soon. Will the Shogoth move? Not that time. We may get lucky and only lose 1. And that is the case. The Shogoth will move again, and this time direction number 3 and counterclockwise. Direction 3 is down and to the right, which will move the Shogoth onto our cattle farm, blighting it. Red and yellow will get to go again before the old ones, and we need to take care of that Shogoth. Red has an airship, but yellow has artillery, So hopefully between the two of them, we can do enough damage to take this thing out before it makes it to yellow's port. I realize I made an error when the red player used the blue player's rail. I spent 1 gold and it should have been 1 extra time unit. So I will return that gold to the red player, which means the red player now has 2. And I will move the red token ahead, meaning that it is not the red player's turn. So the red player got a turn out of order. So to penalize myself, I'll move the red to where it should be, 1 ahead, but I'll place it on the very bottom. That way I don't gain an advantage by placing it on top. I'm not sure the exact order it would go in. A couple discs have moved and shuffled around, so instead of trying to figure out the proper order or dialing everything back, I'll just move it ahead 1 and place it at the bottom of the stack, which hurts me quite a bit, but I may have gained an advantage by taking a turn out of order also. So red will not get to attack the Shogoth. It's the yellow player's turn, and the yellow player will have to, hopefully, be able to take this thing out by itself before it moves on to its port. The yellow player will have to pay 1 because of the cube that's already on the attack. Attack with infantry and artillery at the cost of 2 minus 1 thanks to Professor Guillaume. Yellow will get to go again, but they wouldn't be able to attack again because yellow is out of gold. And before this thing reaches our port, we will use the infantry and artillery to try and take care of it. The first attack, well, the infantry is going to do some damage, but it's going to do damage and cause a loss of sanity. Partial success. The infantry will take a wound and we will lose 1 sanity, leaving us with 2. We continue the fight, and unfortunately it's armored cars and we will take another wound. And both infantry and armored cars came up, and those are both the poor units for attacking a Shogoth. We will damage the infantry, sending it back to the barracks, thanks to Franz Newman. This attack would be effective by trains and damage an airship, which we don't have. 2 damage by artillery, no damage to us. Excellent. A great attack, leaving the Shogoth with only 1 health remaining. Can we do this? No. We don't have an airship, and we'll take another wound. Place that wound on the infantry. Keep it going. We did it. Excellent, excellent attack. Another double wound. We only needed 1 by our artillery. Returning our cubes to headquarters, gaining a trophy worth 5 victory points. And everyone made it safely back from the battle and returned to the barracks. We will have yellow build us some more tracks, which will move yellow further ahead by quite a bit. But I want to prep for gaining resources and the ability to sell those resources to get more types of infantry units, especially the trains with all the tracks we have out there, which will help against the big creatures like Cthulhu and Shogoth. We'll place 1 track here to give us access to those coal deposits, and we will place 1 here for future use to gain that phosphate near the end, whoever is lowest on victory points. And that'll bring us to the old ones, landing on an illuminated space. Hopefully we get lucky here and no old ones are revealed, which means nothing will move. Well, that's definitely not good. Reveal the old one in the lowest numbered hex and draw 6 cards for its movement. Right now our lowest numbered hex would be this level 2 here on 24. So we'll reveal it. And it is a Loyalist worth 3 victory points but has 6 health. And that Loyalist will have 6 opportunities to move. That's 1, It will move here on card number 2, direction 4, and counterclockwise. 4 would be directly to the south. The Loyalists are 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the blue port, and 1, 2, 3, 4 away from the closest unblighted farm. If it moves here, it would be 1, 2, 3 from there and 3 from there, so that is an easy solution. This farm was also 4 away. Card number 3, we'll see the Loyalists staying where they're at. Number 4, also, we'll keep them where they're at. We're safe for now. The Loyalists are 3 away and only will draw 2 more movement cards. And they will move again, direction 1 or clockwise. 1 is directly to the north, which they will not move, so we'll have to move clockwise to see which direction the Loyalists will go. Starting here and going to here would move it closer to that one. And finally, no movement by the Loyalists this time. But it's not over yet. We still have to draw the 2 cards for movement that the old ones get regularly. We got lucky again, no movement. And finally, the last card is no movement by the Loyalists. Lucky for us, the Loyalists were moving slowly through those 8 cards, which will bring us to the blue player with Loyalists on their rail line. And blue has the ability to attack with an empty space on their player board in the attack spot. Blue has infantry and armored cars, and they're both good against Loyalists. So blue will do just that, attack with infantry and armored cars, which will cost blue 2 time units, but hopefully the attack is very successful. They move along the railway to attack the Loyalists. Alright. The infantry will be successful and we will take 1 wound. Both enemies hit each other for 1 damage. We continue. Same again, infantry and 1 wound. That's 2. And we'll place 1 here on the armored car. Don't want to lose the infantry unit yet. The armored car will do 1 and we will take 1. We're halfway there. We'll place this one on the infantry, which will eliminate them, sending it back to the supply. I don't want to use Corporal Jones to withdraw yet. No damage by either side with this card. We don't have artillery here, unfortunately. Armored car will do another wound, and we will take a hit. Blue's doing a good job, but is taking a lot of wounds. This time we'll put it on the infantry. Keep the battle going again. Ooh, the armored car does 1, but we're going to take 1. I could use Corporal Jones to undo the effect of the last old one card and get out of combat. And that'll save me from losing one of my units, but it will also stop the old one from taking another damage. And I think I'll do that. I'll withdraw. Send these both back to the barracks and end the combat with Corporal Jones, leaving 4 wounds on the Loyalist. Our red player can go next. The red player can go along that line at the cost of an additional time unit, and I will do that. I'm going to get these Loyalists away from my farms and ports. I will attack with all my infantry and will take the airship. It's already going to cost me 1 extra time unit, so I don't want to take the armored car also. This will cost me 1 here. And since I will be using the blue player's rail, it'll cost me an additional time unit for a total of 2. Which means the old ones will get a couple of turns in a row. But if we can take these Loyalists out, they won't have anyone to move until they reveal something else. We have infantry and an airship available there, which will do nothing. Should have brought the armored car. Well, the infantry are earning their pay now, and that'll be a wound inflicted by red. We need 1 more, and hopefully we can do this, and we can. The infantry, after seeing nothing happen in that first card, really came through. And that will be enough damage. But we have two different players that took these Loyalists out. This particular old one is worth 3 victory points. When more than one player is involved in destroying the old one, you split the victory points evenly. In this case, there are 3, so the blue player would get 1, the red player would get 1. If there was any remainder left over after splitting it, in this case there's 1 remaining because you can't get a half a victory point. The player that did the most damage gets the remainder, so blue will get 2 and red will get 1. If no player inflicted more damage, for example, if the red would have done 3 and the blue would have done 3, they each would get 1. And since nobody did more damage, then that remainder would just be lost. Each player's damage cubes were returned to their respective headquarters. And here are the victory point tokens that you use because no player will get the tile from the old one. These 2 will be awarded here to the blue player, and the red player will get 1 victory point. And that victory really helped because the old ones will move onto a non-illuminated space. The old ones have nothing revealed, so they will not move, but they will go again onto an illuminated space. And the revelation we are dealing with is revealing the old one in the lowest numbered hex, and then we'll draw our 2 movement cards. The lowest numbered hex right now is 25, where this coal deposit is. And we will have a zombie worth 2 victory points and with 4 health. Will this zombie move? It will not with the first card. And it will not with the second card. Our players are back in charge now. Every one of them will get to go at least once before the old ones go again. Starting with red.